She's the queen of indie soul. Put your hands together for Ms. Kate Lee. Woo.
When I came here 2 years ago, I really struggled to see that there was anything going on in the arts scene, in the music scene. I didn't see anything, I didn't hear of anything. I'm a local artist. When I say local, I was born in central Queensland. I was born on Emerald and I grew up in this area. But I think there's a lot of people who are artists from here. As soon as I was 17, I left. I figured I had to leave to do anything creative. And then a couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to try and get a bit of balance in my life. Instead of living in the capital cities, I wanted to come back to where my family was and still try and do music. Especially since then, I've come back and really connected with other local musicians here and realised that there's a whole bunch of really talented people who are super frustrated because there's nothing going on. So I thought, okay, let's try and make a tour that involves the local musicians, gives them a chance, a place to play. But also, instead of going back to those same spots like the major cities, I wanted to take it to places that don't normally get it. So one of the things is that I thought it would be really good to go out into these little towns, find the people who love music in those towns too, and get them involved in our show. So I decided that the musicians are going to go and hold music workshops in the afternoon. So whoever in the town likes to play music, no matter what it is, they can bring their instruments along and jam with the professional musicians, and they will hopefully work on some of the songs that will be performed that night. And then I kind of thought, okay, well, that's great, but I don't know where to go with this. And then I met some of the local groups. So I met Creative Capricorn at just some event, a networking event. I also met the Keppel Coast Arts Council, and they run the Village Festival. Well, I was trying to do something that the Keppel Coast Arts Council wanted to do with the Village Festival, but they had no idea and no one who would do that for them. It was just a concept. And Creative Capricorn were there saying, well, we really want to get, support. This sounds like a great idea, we want to support it. Creative Capricorn has set aside funding for us. They've set aside $10,000 funding for us, and they have said that basically that will be there to ensure that the tour goes ahead. I started asking, particularly Rod from Creative Capricorn, just any hurdle that I came up with. Basically, he came back with some advice. And yeah, suddenly this little idea started to seem really viable, really possible. Each town is taking this event and turning it into something completely different. Every one of these shows is going to have its own identity. It's like this show is basically it's connecting with the whole of the town. I just feel it's giving there's a whole other layer that the community gets out of it. They get the entertainment, and I think the entertainment on its own is a great thing, but then to be able to say we're going to help your local musicians and develop your local musicians.
It was fantastic. Straight from the very first show, we discovered some amazing talent in Mount Morgan. We've been inundated with people in every single town. The workshops have gone nuts. They have just so much great feedback about people just saying, thanks so much for coming. We never get stuff like this, and this has been really great. And what's been interesting is that it's a whole range of ages as well. I think the youngest that we had I think he was 9. But then on the other end of the spectrum, we had a group of ladies in their 70s as well that came to the workshops and got a lot out of it. There's been some really good collaborations to come out of this as well. So, for example, one of the girls who came to the Moranbah workshop, we actually got her involved in working at the Village Festival, so she came down and performed at the Village Festival. So, there's a step for her straight away, advancing her career through that way, which is really good. And for the performers on the road, we've had some interesting collaborations as well. So we have done some other shows together outside of the tour, but further than that, we had one guest performer for the Mount Morgan show, and now we've decided to do some more collaborations and do some more shows with him later in the year as well. So And I wouldn't have discovered them if it wasn't for putting this tour together. It's a huge thing that is connecting Queensland and connecting all the musicians and all people who want to be musicians right across the state. That's the idea, to keep this happening every single year, building on these connections so that eventually all of these towns feel like they are actually part of something that's really big and really great.